You know what? I'm gonna do something special for y'all. We were blessed on this podcast to have an interview with the one and only Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons, if you guys don't know who he is, he was the first black WCW champion. To my knowledge, he was the first black champion of any huge national syndicated wrestling promotion. Ron Simmons was a former football player. He was known as Farooq when I was introduced to Ron Simmons in WWE or WWF at the time. But I watched him from that time that he won the championship until now. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I modeled the Best Damn Wrestling podcast off of the catchphrase that Ron Simmons made famous, which is the word damn. In my eyes, he is one of the greatest champions of all time. And Mr. Everything had an opportunity to sit down with the great Ron Simmons and do an interview and asked him a few questions. So, beautiful people, prepare yourself for Mr. Everything interviews everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Everything, Victor Andrews, and I am blessed, beyond blessed to have this legend of professional wrestling, this Hall of Famer of professional wrestling, Mr. Ron Simmons.
Yes, sir.
Man, I gotta tell you, I usually don't get lost for words, I usually don't get starstruck, but I mean, you are the uncle for all of us. You are the reason why we do things that you're the reason why we're able to do things that we're able to do.
You know, coming from you, and particularly being a young black man, I can't tell you how much that means to me. But see, understanding this, right? Everything has a beginning, and for myself, others lay the platform for me. So, you know, that's what I'm supposed to do, you know? Continue that going, you know? So I know I'm doing that, if that's what it means to you. So that's what I'm expecting you to do. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, so that's how that goes, you know?
Absolutely.
No, Ron Simmons didn't do it by himself. I had others to come before me that laid that stage, you know, and said it for me. So I'm keeping that going, you know, and you're gonna keep it going.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, man, it means everything in the world to me.
So, being the very first African-American world heavyweight champion.
Black.
Yes, black world heavyweight champion.
Right.
Explain to me what that feeling was, and explain to me how you felt seeing someone like Kofi Kingston becoming the first black WWE champion.
The same way, brother, looking at the, you know, as it's when it's set in for me, right? I'm sure the feeling was the same. You understand me? Because I didn't really grasp it at that point. My sights were set on just being champion. Okay? Later on, the significance of it hit me. You understand? Because of where it's reverberated over the years with you, right? With others. And the best part about it is that not only with just young black men, you know, hey, we're talking to women of all other people of all other colors and ethnicity too, you know what I'm saying? So man, listen, all these years later, for it to have that impact, I mean, you can't ask for no more than that, you know? Hey, I'm a blessed man, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, no doubt.
So one more quick question. Of all the years of being in a tag team, or you and Butch, and then you and JBL and APA, everything you've done, Nation of Domination, tell me, what is the most profound moment of your career?
And once again, we just finished talking, right? And I've been in some wonderful, you know, with some great tag partners, you know. Butch being a mentor to me, right? And of course being in the tag with JBL, right? Hey, both of them fantastic, right? But becoming world champion again, the first black world champion, that impact, brother, listen, that's it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the highlight.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and for the meaning, not just the intent, but the meaning of it.
Yes.
You know, right? For the inspiration, inspiring others. You know, like you said. You know, and I just had to sum my entire career of it just be damn.
It's Mr. Everything. Ron Simmons, back to you at the guys of the best damn wrestling podcast.
Oh my God! You talking about fanning out, man. That was a great interview from the great Ron Simmons. I loved how with Mr. Everything said you were the first African American black. He wanted to make a statement with that because not just African, he didn't just represent African Americans, he represented people of color all over the world with that win, especially black men, man. We look up to him. I know I looked up to him. I know that Mr. Everything definitely looked up to Ron Simmons growing up, man. And even his style, he has a couple of his moves. Ron Simmons had a hell of a spine buster, man, which is one of Mr. Everything's marquee moves. So Ron Simmons has definitely had an effect on all the black champions. He's paved the way and opened the door for champions of all races, creeds, and colors, but especially for young black champions, man. Ron Simmons has definitely paved the way for everyone who is doing it right now, from Kofi Kingston to Bobby Lashley to Omos, even down, like I said, to Mr. Everything. Ron Simmons has definitely had an impact on the wrestling community, especially the wrestling community of color. So thank you, Mr. Ron Simmons, for letting us sit down and talk to you. And thank you for having that soundbite that I'm going to start using from now. The best damn wrestling podcast. I can't do it like he do. I try each and every Wednesday. It hurt my throat a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But if I could do it like Ron Simmons, I would. But thank you, Mr. Ron Simmons, for that interview. We appreciate you being a part of the best damn nation.